Hi, I'm Dr. Gilgamesh, and I'd like to introduce you to my podcast, Emotional Anatomy. It's an intelligently designed anatomy that has as its goal the recruiting your interest and curiosity as to how it works so that you can become more familiar with it and, as a result, better at it and enjoy it more. Welcome. Hello there again. All right, so I know I'm really stepping out on limbs here, and I'm trying to upend a little bit of the psychological science, you see, because my claim is that the mind operates according to principles that can be described, a vocabulary that will assist us all in teaching one another. Through our collaboration, that our willing collaboration is what makes us healthy beings. It has long been understood that collaboration is the solution to narcissism. Well, or healthy narcissism, they would call it. Now, my claim is that conceptually it will be useful. We've spoken of this before, but in case it's the first time, conceptually it will be useful for you to realize that we are all narcissists. Now, the only people that are offended by that are the people who have a pathological narcissism that can't stand the reality that they too are narcissists, just as I am, and just as Roseanne Barr is, and everyone else that is willing to admit it. But that the concept here is narcissism and greed. Are these the causes of the disorders? Should these be called problems or illnesses or disorders or blamed for the troubles that we face? In fact, is it not possible that these diagnoses get blamed, and in fact what they are traps? Traps of confusion that prevent us from seeing this bigger picture, which allows us to stand back and see, understand, and recognize where we're trapped, how we're trapped. We would call it unconscious programming, as though we've inherited this from our parents. Well, indeed we have. DNA has passed along to us our emotional anatomy. And within our emotional anatomy, certainly there are default emotional reflexes that have come through various wounds to the neurological system, through dynamic consequences to the unfortunate rearing experiences that many of us go through, or even, may I say, television, that can wound the emotional system through various forms of trauma. But now my point being here is that in order to find our way out of this situation, I believe that we need a new vocabulary to describe how the mind works. I'm suggesting that we take a look at the mind through a new lens. A lens of awe and wonder, a lens that recognizes that the way the mind works is designed to impress you, so that you will pursue that understanding further, and as a result, recognize more frequently when and where and how you get trapped. The 7 deadly sins, when and where and how you get trapped. Now, it has long been understood that these traps are real. Gluttony. Whoa! I suppose each of us has had our share. The concept being, though, that these are default emotional reflexes that end up repeating themselves and become what? Personality, dark secrets, frustrations, indeed. We've called it unconscious, but in fact what I'm claiming is it's simply unaware, and that what we need to do is help each other recognize how to become more aware. And that is through this lens of awe and wonder, through a guidance system that takes you to a place where you can see more clearly and thereby get excited and want to do that more. Now, I think that a design that helps you want to do it more, which is, by the way, contribute to make the world a better place, a personal significance. They would argue that the narcissism is a false inflation of self, or some other way of recognizing a compensation for my faults, my secret faults, those that I'm not going to tell you because we don't have enough time. But I'm going to express that the idea of unconscious is different from understanding and awareness. You see, once awareness and understanding kicks in, then you can see that it's a tug of war, that this is a battle for recognition and understanding of how your mind is working and where you get trapped, where and how you get trapped. Pride cometh before the fall, where and how you get trapped. And by pursuing this gratitude guidance system, heart home, you're allowed to then stand back in awe and recognize where and how you get trapped and when you get trapped. And that the gratitude reboots the machine so that you have the chance to return heart home and see when, where, and how you got trapped and even begin to explain it. Explain that sense of self that is not up to being able to explain that sense of self. Other traps, right? It's a tug of war. It's freedom versus slavery. It's a battle. It's a wrestling match. Smackdown guerrilla wrestling on cosmic television, because once you think you've got it, the gorillas come up and attack you again. And from out of nowhere, they come and get you. And then boom, see, I told you so, confirming the trap. Or might I add, offering you opportunity, thank you, to see the trap once again and become more familiar with the trap. So familiarity offers you the opportunity to become more confident and comfortable with yourself. Confident, comfortable, and familiar becomes excited, curious, fascinated, and excited alive by how the mind works, because the rewards of experiencing the lens of awe and wonder are so profound that you want to do it again. I'm a scientist. Check it out. Don't just believe me. You're going to have to check this out and see whether or not I'm crazy. I checked it out often enough to believe that I'm not, and that I believe this lens of awe and wonder is very real and quite exciting. I'm trying to sell it to you, as a matter of fact. Snake oil. No, all right. I'm at least being fair with the reality of how difficult it is to understand. My daughter keeps telling me, tone it down, Dad. Come on, bring it down to earth. I'm stuck with who I am. All right, so she is helping me, and I'm trying as best that I can to go at it incrementally, so that you have the chance to recognize within yourself that your gratitude guides heart home. And from there, you get to see when, where, and how you get stuck. And that, we seek our own personal success. All right, well, is not our own personal success a peace and calm and comfort within us? Well, not necessarily. Many people strive for success in material terms, success in power terms, success in fame terms. But may I suggest that success is defined as a prideful, driven, narcissistic vision, one unique to yourself. This pridefully driven vision comes true and you feel better for a while, I suppose. But I'm hoping to offer you a chance to see that that's a temporary resting place. And that because you are a confident person, because you do feel good about yourself, you're able to put up with me and listen long enough to now recognize that you're important and valuable to the future of the world. You're made that way on purpose to impress you, so that you will pursue more understanding and reveal then contribution that makes the world a better place because you're here. That becomes opportunity for each of us to feel that personal significance, that important and valuable to the future of the world. And that it's a challenge because it's war, and that there are moods and emotions that are going to try and shut you down. Oh, I see. Yes, you stupid idiot. I saw one of them. Thank you. And so over and over and over, we begin recognizing that this return through gratitude hard home allows you to see when, where, and how you get stuck. We used to think of this as that, or we would try and claim this as the dynamic consequences of our imperfections, of our 7 deadly sins. And that the dynamic interactions between people, see, they did it to me, or that's the crazy ape that I've spoken of previously. That's the experience of rapid interaction between people where we trigger one another's emotional reflexes. But familiarity with your emotional reflexes allows you to spot them before they take over. And that this dynamic consequences of greed as accounting for the problems of all mankind. All right, well, indeed, it does create a lot of problems. I'm not denying that. I'm suggesting that it is a misunderstanding of how our mind works. For when you follow your gratitude into the experience of your heart's home, we'll cover this more and more, you'll discover this lens of awe and wonder that allows you to see precisely what's getting in the way, oftentimes referencing back to a very early childhood wound, a wound to the emotional anatomy, which now, through its habits and patterns, are continuing to inflict problems upon your life. Collaboration is the answer. We are all narcissists. And the only solution is for us to start talking to each other. In Hawaii, they call it talk story. Let's enjoy talking story. Let's share our experience and wonder with each other and recruit each other heart home, so that we might then be able to see more clearly exactly where we're struggling and speak to it more accurately, helping one another along the way. Become a collaborator. Recognize personal significance to the future of the world. The choices you make a difference. It's freedom versus slavery, the summary of all psychological thought. For if you are stuck with your default emotional reflexes, still slave to your default emotional reflexes, thank you. I see that. Check it out. Return through gratitude to your heart's home and see it more clearly. And then pretty soon, you'll smell it coming. There'll be lots more. So please keep tuning in. Thanks. I'm genuinely excited about being able to bring you insights to a new way of looking at the mind and how it works. Emotional anatomy. Heart home wisdom. Gratitude guides your heart home so that you may discover the lens of awe and wonder. These are concepts that I hope will liberate the world into vision, excited, alive, free to choose. Now, the podcasts are free, and if you're enjoying them, that's great. You can support this through patreon.com/emotional anatomy. Donations are very much appreciated, and we'll continue podcasting. Join us. Thank you.